I would leave it to our Ukrainian partners to characterize whether there is any genuine progress and whether Russia is engaging meaningfully. What I can say is this. There is what Russia says, and there's what Russia does. We're focused on the latter. And what Russia is doing is the continued brutalization of Ukraine and its people. And that continues as we speak.
So that is, of course, Antony Blinken, Secretary of State, not necessarily buying the big breaking news, the monumental breaking news of the day when it comes to the illegal Russian invasion of Ukraine, which is big. And we're going to break it down. So Russia's defense ministry earlier today announced plans to drastically reduce military activity in 2 key Ukrainian regions in a bid to boost mutual trust with Ukraine following peace talks. So they say these 2 major areas, including, by the way, around Kyiv, which they have clearly been going hard for over the last month, they're going to be backing off. Now, there's a couple of different questions that we have to interrogate, which is it honest? Are they actually doing this? And if they do it, are they doing it for the reasons that they're saying that they're doing it? Well, on the first question, there is some indication, although grains of salt considering the source, as to whether this is actually happening. So CNN anchor tweets breaking. Russia is beginning to withdraw some forces from around Kyiv in what the US assesses is a major strategy shift. This is according to 2 senior US officials, thus grains of salt. US is already observing movements underway of Russian battalion tactical groups. In the US view, this is not a short-term adjustment to regroup, which was my fear going into this actually, but a longer-term move as Russia comes to grips with failure to advance in the north. The Russian Ministry of Defense said Tuesday it has decided to drastically reduce hostilities there. US officials make clear the pullback is the direct result of Russia's failure to make further gains around Kyiv. Moreover, Russian forces that withdraw from the north will likely deploy to other parts of Ukraine, potentially besieging other major cities or just moving back into the disputed regions in the east of Ukraine. So to you, Farron, I ask, it looks like this is happening if you can believe these senior US officials. They're saying it's like a good faith thing to show the Ukrainians that we don't want, like they said specifically, we don't want innocent civilians in Kyiv to be injured, which is why we spent a month bombarding them with cruise missiles and artillery and all that. So are you buying any of this? What do you think, make of it?
It's a difficult situation because you basically have these 2 dishonest actors, okay? We've got Russia, which you really can't trust anything that comes out of there. They know this. And then of course you've got US media and our State Department, also bad faith actors in terms of being honest truly and fully with the American people. So it is difficult to take either side at their word. But what we have to do is, I don't want to say wait and see, but it is almost wait and see and hope for the best. Let's hope that what Blinken is saying is accurate. Let's hope that Russia, when they came out and said, well, phase 1 is done, we're entering phase 2, which is we're gonna pull some people back. Let's hope that is also accurate. But then again, when they first had these peace talks, and I forget where they met outside of Ukraine. They said, we're gonna have the ceasefire, remember? Well, there was no ceasefire at all.
That's true.
And that's when they escalated things. So we've been duped before by Russia with terms of, hey, no, everything's cool. Even in the run up to it, when everybody was saying, oh, they're increasing their troops, and Russia says, no, we're not. We're moving them back. We're not going closer to Ukraine. Well, no, you actually were. They've lied to us so many times in 2 months now. So Russia is completely unbelievable anything they say, I believe. So yeah. We've got what we've got. We don't have people doing what we do on the ground over there, telling the truth, for the US media. So it's so tough. It is so tough to make heads or tails of what actually is happening until it has already happened. And that's what makes reporting on this so difficult too, because we can't just take anything at face value. As you said, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. And we only get the real story after we see a hospital bombed or after we see the apartment buildings crumbling to the ground. And we need better, but that's mostly on the media here in the United States. They have wanted war. They always want war. I mean, they have General Dynamics and Boeing running advertisements on their networks. Like we're gonna go out and buy a missile. No, they do it because they buy loyalty with those ads. And so, it's a very difficult situation is pretty much, the big takeaway of this, unfortunately.
Farron, you don't have like a Stinger missile launcher above your mantle or something like that? Or like a recreational drone that can fire, Hellfire missiles? Is that just me? Yeah, and by the way, one of the things in addition that makes it difficult to know exactly what to make of this information, whether the information is coming from Russia or US officials or Ukrainian officials, is the heartfelt desire for it to end. Because what we see is terrible. We want to believe that these developments are true. We want to believe that they're pulling out of these areas. We want to believe, as they say, a Kremlin spokesman says that Russia is not considering turning to nuclear weapons in the war in Ukraine. They would only do that following a threat for their existence. But again, who knows? I find it inconceivable that they would use nuclear weapons, but I also found it inconceivable that they would do an outright full-on invasion of Ukraine. So I've been wrong before. They say, by the way, that they're getting close to potentially accepting a face-to-face meeting between Zelensky and Putin, which is pitched as a major concession. I don't necessarily understand why that would be. I don't necessarily understand why that would help diplomatically that much. But all of this seems to indicate that Russia might be moving towards a willingness to come to the bargaining table in a serious way. And by the way, they've received some immediate potential incentives towards that. For instance, while I hate this sort of stuff generally and the fact that the media focuses so much on it, I find disgusting. But if it gets us to diplomacy, then fine, I'll focus on it. Hey, Russia, look at the fact that like oil prices stabilized and all that. And by the way, the ruble moved back to pre-invasion levels against the dollar. Isn't that great? Look at what not invading might bring you. It might help your economy. All of you oligarchs, you might make a lot of money through peace. So maybe if they see this positive economic news, Farron, maybe we can finally get them to the table.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. And I do have to say, I'm not trying to be just total, US, you can't be trusted. I think Biden has actually, to his credit, done a pretty good job, with handling this situation, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't buy into the no-fly zone, which effectively would have been ready for World War III. The sanctions, of course, on the oligarchs, that's wonderful. What they've done to the people, not good, obviously. Sanctions always tend to do that. But effectively, keeping American boots not on the ground is the best thing we as a country could have hoped for. And I think if this had been, Donald Trump, we would have seen boots on the ground. They probably would have been fighting for a different country. But, I do have to say that not going along with all of the aggression, even when Ukraine has asked for it, please do a no-fly zone, please NATO do so. The US is saying, listen, no, okay, we're gonna help you, we're gonna do what we can, but we're not starting World War III. So, so far, I am very happy with that. The last thing I want to see is the United States get involved in a military way where our people are over there and this escalates beyond repair, because that's what would happen. If we get involved, everybody gets involved, and then it doesn't end well for anybody.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree. Look, we've been highly critical of Biden for virtually everything. All the specifics last year and the complete lack of specifics now. I mean, I feel like he's completely given up on his presidency and he's just sort of phoning it in. He's engaged in the foreign policy stuff, which is good. And by the way, I don't want to say generally that I think he's been nailing foreign policy, because I would remind our audience, there are other wars going on that we are supporting in a number of ways. But on this one, I do agree he deserves some credit. I would very, very narrowly tailor it to this particular issue. But yes, it doesn't look like we're gonna be fighting Russia as of this point. So that we got that going for us. But we will have to see what ends up happening with this supposed retreat. Look, they apparently, the Ukrainians say they killed another colonel. So they are wiping out officers left and right. And if that's what it takes, I don't like to see anyone dying, including Russian soldiers. But I mean, I want this war to end. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.